Today I am going to explain the poem The Road Not Taken, written by Robert Frost. The lines are: the two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveller. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So, now my explanation. Once the poet was walking down the road, he came across the path which was diverged. Diverged means two different paths going in a different directions. Now, the poet has to choose one of the two paths. Before choosing one, he observed that the path went through a yellow wood. Now, the yellow wood means a forest with leaves which are wearing out. Here the poet wants the readers to know that he is comparing the yellow leaves to of this forest with the old people or the people who had traveled earlier. So the poet kept standing for a while, pondering which way to take. In order to get more information about the path, he looked at each of them as far as he could, but he could not see much. As the path went out of sight, as they curved and were lost in undergrowth, in the forest. Undergrowth means dense growth of plants and bushes. Hope you understand the first stanza. You can go through the word meanings. I'm going to post that for you. Now, second stanza. Here, the lines are: then took the other just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as far that the passing there had worn them really about the same. Now, I'm going to explain it. Here the poet, after observing one of the path, the poet takes the other path which was equally fair, and perhaps it was a bit better than the first one because it was grassy. Now, what does the grassy means? Grassy means unused. But after walking to some distance, he realized that the path had actually been used by the people like the other path. So, I hope you understand this thing. Let's move further to the third stanza. The third stanza is: and both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Here the poet says that both the paths were looking similar that morning. The leaves that had fallen were not trodden on. Trodden means nobody had stepped on them or trampled them. The poet kept moving ahead on the path that he had chosen, to a newer path, and it is almost impossible to return from the path once chosen and taken. So children, the poet wants his reader to understand that same thing happens in our life. Like we come across many roads in our life, crossroad in our life, and we have to decide and choose one thing at a given time wisely, because you cannot choose or you cannot change the path in between. Okay, so this is over with the third stanza. Now we are coming towards the fourth one. Here the fourth stanza is, I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood. And I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. Now I want to explain this fourth stanza. Here the poet says that after many years from this time, he will take a deep breath and reflect sadly that once there was a time when he stood at a diversion and decided to take a particular path, and that choice has made all the difference for him. That is, whatever he is today, it is because of that decision. So children, I want to say that your future depends on the choice that you make today. So be wise, make good choice, and learn this poem. I will give you notes and summary just after this. Right now, give your reasons on what things you will keep in mind before making or choosing a path. So that's all. Goodbye.